Greetings. Thank you for the organizers for inviting FDA to present at this conference to provide you an update on Project Orbis. Dr. Rick Pastor and I have presented at this conference before to discuss Project Orbis. Dr. Pastor initially in 2020 to give an overview of the program. And I presented last year and here again today to provide you an update on the progress on Project Orbis. Just to provide you an overview, Project Orbis is a program of the FDA Oncology Center of Excellence, or the OCE. The OCE fosters a unified interaction between the three FDA centers, and this was established in January of 2017. OCE was authorized by the 21st Century Cures Act, and this is the first FDA Intercenter Institute. Within OCE, we work closely with various therapeutic centers within FDA. The first is the Center for Biologics, where we work with Office of Tissues and Advanced Therapies. And this is the organization that regulates CAR T and other cellular therapies, gene therapy, and vaccines. Center for Drugs, or CDER, is where Office of Oncologic Diseases is located. And this office regulates small molecules, monoclonal antibodies, antibody-drug conjugates, and other large molecules. Then we also have Center for Devices, for which we have the Office of In Vitro Diagnostics and Radiological Health. And this center regulates companion and complementary diagnostics. It's been 5 years since OCE was established. And approvals since that time is noted here. There have been, OCE has supported approval of 76 new molecular entities, also known as new active substances or new drug substances, and also an additional 185 new indications, and these are all for oncology. The average review time is about 6 months. This workload of about 250 plus approvals over the past 5 years, I think reflects the highly active area in oncology drug development. One can see the challenges that this could pose for regulatory authorities who have to deal with this large workload. Also, another consideration would be the hematology-oncology providers have to be aware of all of these rapid developments in the field. FDA has multiple expedited programs to help prioritize the workload and to get the therapies available to patients. These traditional programs include Fast Track, Breakthrough Therapy, Priority Review, and Accelerated Approval. The first three programs are designations, whereas Accelerated Approval is a separate approval pathway. The qualifying criteria are shown here, and all require the condition to be serious. For Fast Track, non-clinical or clinical data to demonstrate potential to address unmet need would be the criteria. For Breakthrough Therapy, we have preliminary clinical evidence demonstrating substantial improvement over available therapies. For Priority Review, if approved, would result in significant improvement in safety or efficacy. And Accelerated Approval requires demonstration of an effect on an endpoint reasonably likely to predict clinical benefit over available therapies. The timing of submission is shown in the next row, and the key features are shown on the bottom row. Fast Track is designed to expedite development and review through granting meetings, and also allows for rolling review. Breakthrough Therapy allows for intensive development, guidance, and organizational commitment. And this is what we refer to as the all hands on deck approach. Priority Review, the timelines are shown here. For new molecular entities, the Priority Review timeline is 8 months versus 12 months for standard review. And for supplemental applications for new indications, it's 6 months for priority review and 10 months for standard review. Accelerated approval, besides the being based on an endpoint that is likely to predict clinical benefit. Accelerated approval, we have also required post-marketing requirements to be completed to verify clinical benefit. The several traditional FDA expedited programs I described evolve over a period of time, and this would be the reason why there is some overlap between these programs. This slide shows the historical context of the FDA and OCE programs. Accelerated approval and priority review were enacted in 1992, fast track designation in 1997, and breakthrough therapy designation in 2012. Here's some of FDA oncology metrics for these traditional expedited programs. For accelerated approval, 84% of FDA accelerated approvals from 2010 to 2019 were for oncology indications. Priority review designation from 2015 to 2020, about 80 to 90% of oncology approvals use priority review, 88% of new molecular entity approvals, and 82% for new indication approvals. For breakthrough therapy designation in 2020, 40% of the Center for Drugs breakthrough therapy designations were for oncology indications. These bullets indicated that oncology is a major user of these expedited programs. Nevertheless, OCE felt a need to develop additional programs to further facilitate the submission and review of oncology applications. Hence, in 2018, OCE launched Real-Time Oncology Review, RTOR, and Assessment Aid, followed by Project Orbis in 2019. And I'll show more details of these programs in the next slide. One of the advantages of OCE being a standalone center is that OCE was able to rapidly implement these programs once the initial framework was set. This slide provides a summary of the OCE review programs. We have Real-Time Oncology Review starting in 2018. It has an objective to increase the efficiency of review through earlier submission of critical efficacy and safety data. The key element would be early submission of datasets. Qualifying criteria include substantial improvement over available therapy, straightforward study designs, and well-understood endpoints. Assessment Aid was developed the same year, and the objective of the Assessment Aid is to focus the review on critical assessment and decrease the administrative time of copying and pasting with the applicant's submissions. Key element would be the Assessment Aid is a template with distinct sections for data, applicant position, and FDA assessment. Qualifying criteria for Assessment Aid includes any oncology drug application. Project Orbis was launched in May of 2019 with the objective of facilitating faster patient access to innovative cancer therapies in participating countries. Key elements include direct collaboration between FDA and partner countries. Qualifying criteria for Project Orbis would be high impact and clinically significant applications. FDA Oncology Global Collaboration has a long history. This began in 2004 with the European Medicines Agency, where we have monthly teleconferences to discuss application-specific issues as well as general topics for discussion. This oncology cluster has been expanded to other regulatory authorities, including Canada, Japan, Australia, and Switzerland. FDA noted at these teleconferences that FDA received the application first, followed by EMA, and then after about 6 months. And then it was not unusual for the other countries to experience delays with submission of the applications. Could be 1 year, 2 years, or some may not even receive the application. Hence, OCE launched Project Orbis in 2019. This was conceived as a collaborative review program, but it also aims to facilitate the earlier submission of applications to the partner countries. The current participating countries, which we term as Project Orbis partners, include Australia, Brazil, Canada, Israel, Singapore, Switzerland, and the United Kingdom. What are the requirements for Project Orbis countries? First is that confidentiality agreement with all other Orbis countries. The application submission should be in the English language with inclusion of a sponsor authorization letter to share information across the Orbis countries. And the regulatory authorities should be available to participate in meetings, which could include product-specific meetings, as well as general meetings, which we call board meetings that occur on a quarterly basis to discuss the administrative aspects of the program. Some of these requirements have proved to be a challenge for participation for some countries. For example, Japan, we have reached out to Japan PMDA, and they declined participation in Orbis because they require the applications to be submitted in the Japanese language. The setup for initiation of a new project of a new country to Project Orbis is also includes setup of several meetings, typically 3 to 4 meetings to orient the new country to the framework for Project Orbis. We also discuss our respective regulatory frameworks because it's important to understand our current frameworks for approvals and application submissions to have a better collaborative working relationship. Overview of the program. FDA serves as the primary coordinator for Project Orbis. And again, the plan is for concurrent or near concurrent submissions across the participating countries. The assessment aid, which is one of OCE's programs, is the primary review document for FDA and serves as the core reference document for Orbis countries. The review includes the addition of multi-country teleconferences, generally about 2 to 3 per application. Importantly, each country retains full independence in regulatory decision and labeling negotiations. Project Orbis types, we have designated these as types A to C, and these are classified according to the submission gap and difference with the FDA review timeline. And I will discuss this in the next table. Project Orbis types. Initially, when we designed Project Orbis, we were thinking of type A submission pathways, where this was the regular Orbis, wherein there would be concurrent submission, concurrent review, concurrent action. You have the multi-country teleconferences and the sharing of the assessment aid. And this was true with year 1 of the program, where 70% of the submissions to the Orbis partners were type A submissions. As the workload has increased, we've noticed an increase to more of the type B and type C submissions. And these were designed to handle the particular scenarios that were faced, which include sponsor or the applicant not being able to concurrently submit, or potentially also the regulatory authorities may not have the resources to accept the workload under Project Orbis. So we have type C, which is Orbis written report only, where this allows for sharing the assessment aid. And these would be applications where an FDA has already taken action on the application. As you can see here, there's minimal interaction for this type of Project Orbis. Type B, also known as modified Orbis, is sort of our Project Orbis submissions that are in between type A and type C, wherein concurrent action with the FDA is typically not possible. but there could be opportunities based on the amount of review time overlap for having multi-country teleconferences and concurrent review of the FDA with the FDA. And all of these types allow for sharing of the FDA assessment. Key features of Project Orbis. Project Orbis leverages the FDA staffing and expertise with application review. Just to give you an idea, current FDA oncology staff, we have about 250 plus full-time staff just to deal with oncology drug applications. Our staff include about 100 plus clinicians, including 100 hematologists, oncologists. We have complement of statisticians, clinical pharmacologists, non-clinical experts, as well as project managers to help support the program. FDA has 17 disease-specific teams, and they're shown here. The FDA review provides for independent multidisciplinary assessment, including full review of datasets. Please note that Project Orbis is not a work-sharing initiative. And again, each country retains independent decision-making for each application. This figure provides for Project Orbis 2-year update. The slide shows the numbers from year one. So your year one experience, there were 68 submissions leading to, and there were 32 regulatory actions taken in that first year. You can see with year two, there's been approximately twofold growth in the program with increase in the number of submissions as well as regulatory actions. And this is through the middle of 2021. The breakdown of the submitted applications and regulatory actions taken according to countries shown here on the table. Israel Ministry of Health is not included in this figure because they joined the program in July of 2021. Additional highlights. The submission gap to FDA continues to be at the median of 1 month, and the regulatory action gap varies according to Project Orbis type. Currently, the overall median remains at about 3 months. So summary of Project Orbis year two experience, workload. There's been a twofold increase in year two submission workload compared to year one. We've noticed also that there's an increase in proportion of type B and type C submissions. Previously in year one, these were a total of about 30%. Now you can see that about 50 to 60% of the applications are type Bs and type Cs. And our thinking is this probably reflects, again, the challenges with concurrent from the applicant side, as well as on the regulatory authority side for the increased workload in Project Orbis. New molecular entities, also known as new active substances and new drug substances, comprise about 32% of the workload. About a third of the FDA oncology workload is being referred to Project Orbis. Because of the increased workload, we've also needed to conduct a few process changes to streamline the program. The Orbis teleconferences have been changed to an issue-based discussion format, and we've reduced the number of meetings as it becomes more challenging to schedule multiple meetings when you're dealing with several applications at the same time. And finally, the assessment aid is shared at the conclusion of the FDA review. Previously, the process allowed for an iteration of comments and edits from the partner countries. However, due to the increased workload, we felt that the assessment aid would best be served to serve as the FDA review final assessment, and the Orbis partners or Project Orbis partners can use this document as they consider fit for their review. What have been the challenges with Project Orbis from its implementation? I think I have a few bullets here. Um, First is future expansion to other countries. Currently, there are 8 Project Orbis countries, including the U.S. We have received queries from other countries throughout the world, and currently, due to workload and resource considerations, we have not been able to expand further to other countries. At some point, having too many countries becomes more very logistically challenging in regards to scheduling of meetings, for example. Other challenges for some countries wishing to join would include the lack of a confidentiality agreement that's required to be present with each Orbis partner. Next challenge I'd like to discuss is co-approval with diagnostic tests. We know that several oncology therapeutic approvals require diagnostic tests to identify the population for the drug. And early on with the program, we had reached out to our Center for Devices to talk about, well, could Project Orbis be expanded to include the diagnostic tests? And while we've had those initial discussions, I think the primary challenge encountered with this was that the framework is just so different across the several countries under Orbis. FDA would have the most, I think, stringent framework with the requirement for co-approval of the tests, whereas other countries typically would deal with these with identification of the respective diagnostic tests through labeling. So these major differences in the framework did not make it amenable for inclusion of the diagnostic tests under Project Orbis. Some countries are in the process of developing a framework similar to FDA with regards to requirements for co-approval of diagnostic tests. And we'll have to see how those frameworks shape up and see whether they would fit under Project Orbis. Advanced therapies has been another area that I think we had looked into. So these would include therapies, complex drug therapies that include radiopharmaceuticals, which include assessments of other agencies that might, for example, deal with radiation safety. And we have, of course, your cellular therapies like CAR T therapies with its complex manufacturing issues. Today, these have not been included in Project Orbis due to the complexities for the development and approval for these products. I think we are continuing to work with our colleagues with Center for Biologics to streamline the review process and hopefully open advanced therapies for Project Orbis in the future. The figure here shows the Project Orbis graphic. Again, I think overall, FDA OCE has been very happy with the progress of Project Orbis. As of the end of December 2021, a total of 150 regulatory actions have taken place with supported by Project Orbis. And this certainly shows really the growth of this program. And certainly this would be consistent with OCE's mission to enhance regulatory decision-making and through innovation and collaboration. I would be happy to discuss with the group regarding your thoughts and any suggestions regarding Project Orbis. I'll end here. I also would like to thank all of the participants in Project Orbis, including the FDA teams that continue to support this program. Thank you.